Okay, to the other side. They've made it to the other side. They are in the Gerasenes. This is like literally they pull up on shore, and there's this legend of a less than man, more beast, more monster than anything. The way he's described in the Bible, he's been shackled, chained. They've tried to chain him up and restrict him. In the Roman times, they would handcuff here and around the chest, and then to the ankles, so that you couldn't actually bend down or stand straight up. So you could actually dig, which they would. They'd dig their own grave, and then they'd dump them in there after exhaustion. So, but this monster literally broke the chains, broke the shackles. He was so demon possessed. He had super strength, super strong, and he made his home the tombs. Like that's like making our home a graveyard. Like that's where he chose to dwell, and in his dwelling place he could be heard even from across the ocean or across the sea. Him shrieking, he would just scream, and it was blood curdling. Like if you can imagine like a bag of cats being shaken, like. But then deep down in the belly of it, like some sort of roar of a lion as well, like both multiple voices coming out of one man. It was haunting, scary. This is all, like in his dwelling place as well. This smell, they couldn't distinguish what this smell was about this particular part of the land. Whether there were human sacrifice there, so it could have been dead person, or there were many pigs. It could have been dead pig. They weren't sure, but it was just the most vile smell imaginable. This man / monster would also like make marks in his skin with rocks, and make these horrible gashes all over his body, and self-mutilation. Well, they already have endured the storm. The minute they're back on shore and step on land, guess who comes running out of the tombs towards them? But this monster comes running towards them. The disciples must have been like, told you we shouldn't have come here. Didn't we get that clue from the storm? Let's get back in the boat. And Jesus, no. He stands. He doesn't move. He doesn't run. He doesn't go. He doesn't flinch. This monster comes running, and what does a monster do? Falls to his knees. Maybe there was some ounce of like compassion or like love in that man still, even though he was overwhelmed by multiple of demons. There was some ounce of him that knew there's hope. He saw God on the shore. His own disciples didn't see God in the boat. So this monster runs down, bends to his knees, and not his voice, but the voices in him. They say, "What business do we have with each other, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I implore you by God, do not torment me." They knew who he was too. Those demons that were inside of him, they knew who had showed up on the shore, and that they said, "Please do not torment me." They didn't know what was coming, but they saw judgment, they saw punishment, they saw that their time had come to an end. And Jesus says, for he had been saying to them, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit!" ! And he was asking him, then he asked him, "What is your name?" And he said to him, "My name is Legion, for we are many." A legion in the Roman army, a legion was 3,000 to 6,000 men. So there's at least 3,000 demons in this one man, at least in one man. Side note that once a demon leaves a person, you should be very careful, because if they come back, they'll bring 7 more of their friends. Sevenfold. So for a man that's got 3,000 to 6,000 demons in him, it would have been catastrophic. Yeah. So, side note, the odds are huge. Now, Jesus has received a message from his Father. He says, go on this mission. Go on the other side. Meet this man. There's a reason for it. He comes here. He asks what his name is. He says, I'm Legion, for we are many. And then the demons began to implore him earnestly not to send them out of the country. Now there were a large herd of swine. When it says out of the country, can you read your in your translation in 10?
What?
5:10.
And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area.
Out of the area. Okay. Is yours the same, Jay?
Then the evil spirits begged him again and again not to send them to some distant place.
Some distant place. Maybe it says it later. Their fear is the abyss. They don't want to go to where demons are doomed. Like, if they go there, there's no more playing. There's no more anything. When they go to the abyss, they're done. So he implored him, and send us into the swine, so that we may enter them. Jesus gave them permission, and coming out, the unclean spirits entered the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the sea, about 2,000 of them, and they were drowned in the sea. The pigs knew enough that what was inside them was not worth living with. They went and killed themselves. This was pigs. What they had in them, they recognized. The lowest of the low in the Jewish faith. So notice that his disciples, all Jews, watching these pigs choose death right away than to live with that demon in him. This man had all of them inside of him. This is something we don't want. This is a very, very bad thing. That they drowned. The herdsmen ran away and reported in their city and the country, and the people came to see what had happened. They came to Jesus and observed the man who had been demon-possessed sitting down, clothed, and in his right mind. The very man who had the legion, the monster, they became frightened. Those who had seen it described to them how it had happened to all the demon-possessed man and all about the swine, and they began to implore him to leave the region. Sad part of the story. But also interesting, this man who was saved is not received in his own town. Guess who else wasn't? Jesus. The one place he went, his own hometown, was not received. So just saying, if you aren't received in your hometown, it's okay. You got a lot in common with Jesus. And also, this guy, if you also feel like you are riddled with demons or riddled with whatever it is that's holding you down, if you got chains that you could unshackle and yet you still feel bound to them, if you're wrapped up in a monster, Jesus restored this man in his right mind. Like, within a flash, it was done. And what happens to this man, where he goes off from here? Jesus says, he says to him, go home to your people and report to them what great things the Lord has done for you and how he had mercy on you. And he went away and began to proclaim in Decapolis and great things Jesus had done for him, and everyone was amazed. 10 cities are involved in that. Like, he becomes one of the, and there's other in other parts of the gospel they speak of this same possession. This man says, Jesus, I will follow you anywhere. I'm your boy. I'm your man. I'll be a disciple, hands down. I'll be your best disciple. I'm in. I'll get in the boat. I know who you are. I know you're God. These other guys don't. I do. And he's like, no, not for you. Can you imagine that? Like, he wants it. There's that other story, the guy that's like, Jesus, I've done all these great things. I'll do anything to be a disciple. What else do I need to do? He's like, sell all your belongings and then you can follow me. And what does he do? Saddest thing, I think, in the Bible. One of the saddest things in the Bible. This guy that was absolutely, totally primed, ready to go to be a disciple, has to turn sad, and walk away because he knows he can't do it. He can't sell his belongings. He can't lose his things that are so apparently important. So sad. But this man, who's just been removed of all these demons, says, I will give you everything. And Jesus knows he will. And he doesn't, but he goes and becomes the biggest evangelist of the time. 10 cities. That's the mission God sent him on. That's the mission that we could be signed up on.